Thanks for tuning in to Say What Now? Reddit Stories. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. And now, on to the story of Found out me, female 19, and my manager, male 29, has an after work podcast where he talks about his employees. That's weird. No, you're not reading the title wrong. I thought my friend, John, was pulling my leg when he told me about it because I was mentioned in said podcast. For background, this is an office job and I am interning as a phone rep, mostly while also in college. John showed me the podcast that someone showed him after finding it, and that's how I found out. Long story short, it's one of our managers, Josh, and his friend on the podcast. And his friend doesn't work at the company. He doesn't solely talk about his employees on the podcast. He also does sports and politics. But the segment where he did was about work stories related to his job. And I'll refrain from the actual title for obvious reasons. One of the clips John showed me was about a girl who went on maternity leave and the girl who replaced her temporarily. He had made jokes comparing them, using their first names, and even called her replacement a slur word. However, the clip about me involved my Instagram. Long story short, I haven't used Instagram in years, and my last post was literally 40 years ago. Maybe I should have had it private, and I've since deleted it this week. On the podcast, he talked about how some of the managers follow each other and some of the employees as well, but that there were a few he didn't follow that led him to search them and to learn more about his team. And that's how he came across mine. He said I had a hidden talent of dance from high school and that I didn't tell him about that. But why would I, sir? Weirdo. And he joked it was because I didn't want to be hit on. He also said my boyfriend must be happy with my flexibility, even though I'm single. And his friend said that was the reason that I posted it and that my face wasn't doing it. Josh also joked about if I was still flexible, and his friend said to drop something on the ground to have me to bend down and pick it up. Josh is a jokester at work, but I was floored by his video. It's on YouTube. And while it doesn't show his face, his name is in the description. And my friend wants to address it with HR and also telling the mother who's on maternity leave. However, he's not sure if there's something else we should do beforehand, and he wants us to go in together. So here's my question. Are we handling this correctly? And is there anything else we should do beforehand to get our ducks in a row, perhaps even legally, such as consulting a lawyer? Update. As I'm writing this, I'm no longer at the company. My coworker and I went to HR according to the advice we received, and we used a YouTube downloader to download the videos specifically mentioning employees in the case. They'd be in case it be deleted upon him hearing of the potential investigation. I also made sure to tell them that the dance videos he commented about me were from when I was much younger, and we also mentioned his derogatory comments about the coworkers on maternity leave. We gave them links along with a thumb drive containing copies of the videos we downloaded, and we felt like it went fine at the time. We only received one follow up meeting afterwards to let us know that they spoke to the manager about it and that the meeting was held separately to my coworker and I. The videos were also deleted around that time, and the manager was never fired, at least when I was there for a few months. The follow up meeting was the last update we got before months of radio silence, but my ex coworker and I have a guess as to why. Apparently, all of the managers, including the two HR workers at our office, are tight, and they all go out often for sushi after close in the same plaza as our office, too. They also follow each other on social media, even though the manager's podcast was never linked to his personal social from what we saw before going to HR. So we weren't exactly expecting much when they're practically friends and post on Instagram photos together, including the HR managers with them too. Months went by with no updates following the follow up. And said podcast manager began to treat me somewhat differently, like being short with me or giving me side eyes too. Even the mother that was on maternity leave made a complaint after we told her about his comments. But again, nothing came from it, at least to our knowledge. I eventually put in my 2 weeks notice, and that was pretty much it. His podcast channel is still up and posts new videos, but nothing pertaining to work/coworkers stories from when I last checked. My coworker friend said he wouldn't be surprised if the other managers already knew about the podcast given how tight they were. I began looking for other work around that time we initially visited HR because he really came off as a creep. There was another comment from the video about me that I forgot to add, but he joked that he should offer a prize for whoever had the best split at the annual Christmas party as a way to see if I was still flexible. They play games at the Christmas party, and the whole thing just felt really gross to me. I didn't attend for obvious reasons, but it's creepy just knowing that a manager I thought was completely normal could be such a creep. HR is not for the individual, HR is for the company. Period. I honestly, HR is there to save the company. HR is there to make sure that the company possibly doesn't get into any lawsuits. HR is there to make sure that the company is good. There are some individuals who are in HR who try to do what's best for the person, but not a lot. It sucks. It really does. It sucks to even think that. It sucks to say that, but the truth is the truth. How often do you hear about there are comments made on both sides by men and women, and they go to HR expecting a resolution of some sort? And like I said, individually based cases, there are some HR reps who are like, no, this is not going to happen. We're not going to do this. But they are very far and few and in between. Most of the times, the people who are doing the crazy things or saying things, they just get a slap on the wrist, on the hand, and that's it. HR is not for the individual coworkers. They are for the company. I'm glad that it wasn't any type of retaliation done or that they like fired her for something small and minute, as we all know that that happens as well. But, and I'm glad that she got out of there. But that's just weird. And I don't think it's nothing that could have been done legally. Um, they're just weird. That I mean, honestly, they're just weird. Mm. What do y'all think? Comment down below, like and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.